Happy Sunday, followers and apprentices. It is time for the Sunday setup video, and I'm not going to be a day late this week. So, if you're new to this channel or just finding this for the first time, every Sunday I go through all 28 currency pairs that I trade, which are the majors and the crosses, and I look for support and resistance on a daily time frame. Now, that doesn't mean we absolutely trade when we get into those zones or we don't trade if we're not in those zones. These boundaries help me identify with the strategies that I use in trading, help me identify where I could start being short or long biased or look for a breakout in that area. So, guys, if you're more interested in how knowing if and when I take my own trades, jump on the link, go to allenfx.com and fill out the form. Don't worry, I don't send a bunch of crappy emails or blow you up or sell your info. But what I will do is you'll get a weekly newsletter. You will get information with my upcoming 1% Club training courses that I'm putting out here in late May. And then going to start taking people who've never heard of Forex and getting them trading the right way. So if you're finding this and you're interested, go over to allenfx.com. Give me your email and you will get the info. No pressure. All right, guys, let's jump in the charts. Let's quit wasting time. There we go. Let's jump on over. There we go. Okay, so we're already on Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. Let's get our charts a little set up here. Now, guys, I have a bunch of scribble on from last week, and that's fine. So basically what we're going to do is you can see on this very big prediction arrow here, I was waiting for price to get all the way up here. This is still a pretty strong resistance level. Let me get rid of... clean these up a little bit. So I think we're going bearish. We may even get a retest this week, possibly a push up. Obviously, the higher time frame trend is up, is still long, so we gotta be careful where we're at, especially you trend traders that are, the trend's your friend. You have to trade with the trend. As it sounds like I'm making fun of you, but I'm not. But you can see we've been in a downtrend forever, and if you use the 200 EMA as your downtrend, you can see we crossed over a week or two ago, and then maybe this is a false crossover, or are we going to get a retest of this 200 and then a continuation? So those are important levels that we need to watch. I think my guess is we're probably going to pull up a little bit like we are now, and I think we're going to, let me get rid of this old one. Another thing I like to do, guys, is I like to put prediction arrows. I think price might get back to that pivot. It might stall out on that 200 period moving average, and then we get a retest and maybe go bullish for a while on this daily chart. Never know, but I like that missed pivot as a level. All right, I better get moving here or we're never going to get done. Australian dollar, Swiss franc, kind of the same thing. All these Australian dollar pairs are going to kind of look the same. You can see we targeted this resistance area based on this little hitch on its way down there, and it worked out really well. Really well. Two different trades. It hit last week's pivot, so I'm not going to expect too much out of it. Except for this is a definite trend change. But overall, we're still under the 200 period moving average. So it's down. So I think structure-wise, you still have down even after this play at least till we get to this area. Maybe I'll raise that to the top side. Make it a little less. Yeah, I like that. I think we're still going to see bearish, maybe even to this support there. It's probably even smarter to have it right there. Let's do that. All right, guys. Let's go to Australian dollar, JPY. Kind of the same thing, guys. This one never stretched up yet. So this one never made it all the way to where we identified as resistance. We have this trend that we're flirting with breaking right now. I mean, it's broke it if you're gonna draw it that way. If you're gonna touch the bottom of that wick, it still broke it. So I think what we're gonna get, guys, sorry about that, is all the way to this pivot right here. And I'm gonna look for a retest of that trend line off of that pivot. And then that is where I'm going to target a good deep sell, because overall we're still under this 200 period moving average. So if you want to be a stickler about trading with the trend, there you go. And I know there's lots of you out there, because I get lots of comments when I suggest trading against the trend, on these shorter time frames. And the trend witches come out of nowhere. All right, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. Let's get rid of some of this noise we have on these smaller time frames. Same thing, guys. We have a really good trend reversal. Now, I want to show you, this is one of the pairs where price popped up above the 200 period moving average, which now you would consider the trend has shifted if you are... So I like where we have... Sorry, I'm not very good at finishing my thoughts, especially early on Sunday mornings. But I love you guys. And, if you're a religious follower of this channel and me, I could be a little bit of a kook sometimes. But that's okay. We're all kooky sometimes. All right, so we're above the 200. I like where we have our bullish spot. We have a missed pivot. However, we have a smaller direction trend line that we need to see what price happens here. We could very well get a bounce of right where we're at. I like price getting up to this R2 possibly before we get too crazy on our sell. But we do have a missed pivot from last week. Price shot up past R2, back to R2. So we're in indecision zone. If it comes back down to this pivot, maybe think long. But look how close that support, the horizontal support is from the pivot. This is a really good place to take a long trade. You're retesting that 200 EMA, and you are, basically it's going to have to decide bulls or bears at that point. So if you get a good breakthrough, you go short. If you bounce really good off of it, I like that R2 as the target. This trend line in the middle here is just going to kind of give me guidance. It just tells my eyeballs if I'm right here, wait to see if a break of it, and then I'm pretty good down to this pivot or there, but not. But I'm going to set a alert right here, 04880. And why? Because I want to. All right. Let's get some of this noise out of here. Sorry, guys. I have my kids today. It's their first. It's the kids' first time with daddy and not mommy. So it's been a rough week, and I shared that in my podcast that came out today. We all go through some personal stuff that's definitely going to affect our trading. So if you haven't checked out my podcast yet, go do so. The Day Trading Plumber. I got links in the thing below. But we all go through these things. Okay, so Australian dollar, U.S. dollar. This is one of our trades of the week last week. We did phenomenal. Hopefully I could do that every week for the people in my free Telegram channel and in my paid Telegram channel, where we can put in a pending order, identify where price is going to make a move, put it in, give people plenty of time to enter it in themselves, and then it'd be a kind of a long forming trade, a swing trade, if you would, and it goes perfect and we make money. So what do I think? I think we're going to get a pullback, a small pullback, and then we're going to that pivot, which is not a bad play. And you can see it's a lot easier to see on a smaller time frame. But I did explain that last week. We are flirting with this trend line break. That's going to be that retest. So I like this one. I'm going to turn this one red. Okay, we're kind of in a channel. You can see on the daily here, we're channel trading this pair, and we have been for quite some time. But what I want to show you guys is we have a slight trend. If we draw it. There's so much controversy out there on how to draw trend lines, but either way you draw it here, we broke this trend line. So that's this bearish pressure that you see. However, things aren't that easy in trading, and you're sitting right at a horizontal support. So I think we might get a bounce back to the pivot this week. Back to this daily pivot right here. I guess I can't call it a daily pivot, but back to this missed pivot from last week. And then that is a perfect retest of that trend. So that would make for a really good setup back down to this S2. You can see last week's prediction arrow. I was anticipating this drop from that pivot. So tricky little pair here, but I think we might get some downside. And guys, remember, it's non-farm payroll week, so we're going to have a lot of movement. And, we all know the numbers aren't going to be good, but has price overpriced the bad, and then we actually get positive movement on some of these bad news announcements. Stranger things have happened. So kind of got the same thing working here with CAD JPY. Price got to that pivot level. We're sitting at a horizontal support. We just need to probably, let's use my new tool. My new tool, guys. So the yellow one, this yellow one, I'm going to make or break zone. So perfect example of how I'm going to use this. So we have a support resistance zone that we're pretty confident with, right? It's pretty strong. And then here we're starting to form a midway support that we don't necessarily want to call support, even though it's rejected here. But this is a place where I as a trader want to go, okay, is this going to be the time you make that break down to what we think is an overall support? So I call this my make or break zone. I'm not going to be short biased. I'm not going to be long biased. I am simply going to see if we get a big break through that area of support, but I don't want to plant my head that I want to be buying off of it because, I'm a reversal trader. But I do want to see, is price going to break through? And then I am definitely going to be short biased on a retest or, down to this S2. If we get a bounce off this, I'm going to be a long bias to this pivot, possibly back up to this trend line in R2 or my daily resistance. Okay, Swiss franc JPY. Okay, another great call out last week. Had a lot of great call outs, not a lot of good trades. How does that happen? Well, I had a lingering trade from the week before that was causing me to really focus on my margin and drawdown. And, I'm the style trader that I battle my way out of bad positions, which I know a lot of you are going to say, stupid. Why'd you even go into it? But hey, everyone trades their own way, and whatever makes you money is the right way. So, what do we see here? Swiss franc JPY has been in a uptrend, not a very strong one, but you can see we're above the 200 EMA, but I like this channel that we're in. That's how we were able to call this perfect bounce. Look, we broke through the 200 EMA. We're testing it now. We got back to our pivot from last week. So this gives permission. This is permission for price to continue this downward trend, or we're going to make or break another thing up to our bearish zone, or possibly this calculated R2. So I think we're right in that indecision zone, where we're just going to have to look at a smaller time frame. But personally, I think now that prices come up here, it has permission to at least come back down to this area. If we break up, these are obvious levels for TPs or waiting for that reversal to happen. This is a pretty strong move at the end of the week last week. So this is kicking all those people in the balls that got short on this cross. And then if they were greedy, bam, kicked them right in the balls. So I think we're in that great indecision time where we're going to be able to have a trade soon, but we have to confirm it. EUR AUD. All right. So last week we took a losing trade in my Telegram channel because I was deep in drawdown and didn't want to deal with it. So we took a buy trade right around here where we should have. And it just went, one day further against me. And then if I would have held it back to the pivot, which was my profit target, it would have gotten there. What do I think it's going to do now? Well, guys, we have a pretty strong downward trend on the daily. We hit perfectly into our support that we identified, the 200 EMA. So that's this indecision zone. That's how we identify these really great zones that price is going to do something. Either the bears or the bulls are going to prove their point. And right here, bunch of bulls got in and it hit this pivot, which almost everyone was targeting as their take profit. So this pair, we could see a continuation, and I almost like this downward trade back to this zone, because guys, if we're going to get a big reversal, typically what we'll see and what I wait for, now that this is almost making us feel like, oh, we missed out. Wait for the double bottom. Wait for that double bottom. This would be a really good place. 65,833 to take a long trade and hold that one for a while. I like it. Okay. EUR Swissy. I like this indecision. Look how far away we are from the 200 EMA. You know what kind of trader I am. When we get this far away from the EMA, I'm gonna I'm gonna do what everyone tells you not to do, which I don't know why. Price is veered far from its average, its mean. So what we're looking for, guys, is I want us. This has become a very strong support area. So when we're in this sideways channel, we can see price is losing momentum. This downward trend it's been on, it's losing momentum. We got lots of divergence. We've started to identify an area of rejection, of resistance. Price, almost came up to R2, went back to the pivot. So I think what we're going to get here, guys, is off this pivot, possibly that smaller. I love it to that R2. But if we break this area of resistance, this thing is awesome to trade all the way back up to that EMA. However, you got to confirm we break this, but I like this trade back up to it. If we continue this downward motion, this is even the best trade of the year right here. We wait for price to get to this area of strong support. We look at smaller time frame for confirmation, and this is one you could hold for quite a while. 05132. We are always looking to plant seeds in a really good spot. That is a good spot. I mean, if we go, let's just mess around. Let's go to a weekly chart. This is a decent area of flash crashes in the past. 2015, what is that? 2018, 2015, 2011. So guys, this has been a bottom for a long time. Obviously in these flash crashes, it went a little bit further, but look at where it rebound back. This area is very, very predominant for it. If you give it a little room, you can see it's been below it, but not for a long time. So I like this thing weekly has been below the 200 EMA for a long time, except for this little period of reboundness. But I like this pair. I like this level to get at least back to up here. All right, Euro GBP. Now we've messed our charts up a little bit. So I got my make or break zone, guys. I like this area as the bullish support. There we go. So if we get a break of this make or break zone, I like this area of support. You can see this major bullish run here in March on this COVID stuff, and then price is sitting right back on the 200 EMA. So this is definitely make or break zone. So it's either going to tell us, hey man, I love it, and if we zoom in on it, the last day of last week, strong bullish candle. So this little area of resistance, see it right there? If we break up above that, you have a lot of upside back up to this area of resistance. So this one, make or break zone. Euro JPY, ooh, we're in a really good spot for a short. Price made this impressive move up, came back to the pivot. This would have been an awesome buy trade last week. It worked out perfectly. But we're in an area of resistance because of these rejections. You know, we probably could even come right there. So if you get another test up here, great place to plant that seed. Anywhere in this area is a good place to plant that seed. And like I said, guys, before we get any type of big trend reversal, we're way far from the EMA. We're going to get some sort of double bottom. Or at least that's what I look for this big change. You know, that's what I look for. Look for that move this week. If we'll be downside all week, and then we might be long the week after. We'll just have to see. If we get a solid bust through, which we all know, if you've been trading long enough, you know, as soon as you get comfortable with this supply and demand type trading, and you start thinking that it has to bounce, it has twice, it's going to again. Boom, kicks you in the balls. Euro NZD, kind of the same thing. We're seeing that Euro had some strength at the end of the week. One thing I do see on this one is we have a decent area of rejection right here that we're not at yet. So possibly look for price to get here. Then we decide what's going to happen. And then I think we're going to get a rejection here. And love to play it back down to our bullish zone off of that area. So I'm going to put a alert at 82,616. Good old euro dollar. So you can see we identified this price was getting in this little wedge thing here, which creates tension, creates a lot of tension. And then what we were looking for is which way was it going to break out? Well, it went up. I missed the trade. I mean, how you trade this, guys, is you see this break candle and you enter right on the close of that candle, or you could have waited on a smaller time frame for a retest of this break, which you got a little bit, and then this 200 EMA is your target. But we didn't quite hit the 200 EMA. We didn't quite retest. So I'm, going to wait. I think if we get a pull up to this area, I'm going to sell this puppy. And if we come back down, test this, it bounces off it, that'd be a great place to buy back up. But where we're sitting right now, no real good play. Euro CAD. Okay, so we have a pretty good indication that we've broken this area of resistance. You can see I was completely wrong on last Sunday. So I like this off a retest, which it's well on its way of a retest, and then bam. So here's how we do that. Let's make this a little bigger so we have a reference point. There we go. Now, obviously, we have to be very cautious of a false breakout. So maybe what I should do, and guys, thanks for working with me with some of these new things that I'm trying to do to help new traders. And so we could all live happily ever after. So make or break zone, we're kind of still in that make or break area. But this is one we definitely want to start looking at right out of the gate this week and see if we can't play one of these moves. I really want to sell from here and get this, it's pretty far from its 200 period moving average. The euro had quite a bit of strength at the end of the week, so you kind of look for that to fade this week back to this pivot. British pound, CAD. All right, let's get rid of some of this trash I have in here. So you can see we have a long trend line. Price is coming back to test it. And I like that. That's why we're going to try to sell from anywhere in this zone. That pivot, test of the trend line. I'm sure if I put a Fibonacci on this impulse move, which let's just do real quick, we are sitting right in the 618 zone between the half and the 618. So this might become one of my trades of the week, guys, because everything's lining up. Everything's lining up perfectly in this area for a good move. This might be this false bounce off the 200 EMA that we get that break down that we look for all the time in trading, and be this reversal, this big reversal of this long-term uptrend. We tested this 200 EMA. We rejected it. Now this is a definite area where everyone's looking to see what is going to happen. I'm going to put alert at 95,583. Just in case I'm busy and not on the charts. Don't want to miss it. Okay, pound CAD. So we are flirting with this strong bearish zone right now. I love it. I love this bearish zone. We had a little bit of a hitch over it. Maybe see if it stretches to this R2 right out of the gate. But man, this is a good short, at least to that 200 EMA. Or we could say, you know what, we're starting to see a little bit of a support right there. Oh, let's use our new tool. Let's use our new idea of make or break zone. Why not? That's why we did it, right? So, good place to short R2 up here. If you can catch one of those impulse spikes up just when you think you're wrong, that's when you plant that seed. This could be a TP1. This could be a TP2. This could be a perfect trade for the whole week. Take some of your profit here, move your stop loss to break even. However you manage your trades, it's a good one. Okay, so British pound Swiss franc. This one has been the nemesis for me until the end of the week. And, we took quite a bit of drawdown on this pair and took a couple losses last week that gave up the week before. Not all of our profit, but a good portion of it. But then we got this strong bearish candle. This green line's where I need to get out of that original trade break even. I did not take the rollover trades that I should have to already be out, but I'm hoping here on I love saying hope because that's not a trading strategy, but I'm looking for price to get us back out break even. We were so close last week, and then I'll be flat in the market and look at some of these other great trades that we have, these great setups that are coming. So on a smaller time frame, we had this small little uptrend. You can see price got way up here. Look at all these little trades floating around here, messing up my life. So we hit this area of resistance, came back down. So I'm going to look for price to get back down in this range, 132.437. Get back down to this range, and then we're going to go long again. We're going to go long from this area. We're pretty far from that 200 EMA. So, if we get a good look at a bounce in this area, I like it long back up here. It hasn't hit this 200 EMA yet to give it permission to just keep keep going down. So that's what I'm going to look for. British pound, NZD. You can see we called out a short trade off of this indecision zone. Price went back to its pivot. So my little make or break call out here. Boom! It broke through. So what I was looking for is a retest and then a sell. That's that botched trade. And then look, it came back to its pivot. And maybe now that it came back to its pivot, my guess is we might see price continue this short-term trend back down to this 200 EMA or this S2 level from right where it's at. And let me show you what I see. Whew. Right? Okay. So, British pound, US dollar. Ooh, we're almost back to the 200 EMA. I'm going to move this down a little bit. Right there. Yeah, I came back to its pivot. I'm going to look for something like that and then look to be a seller. I think that's writing, yes. Oh, sorry, guys. There we go. I don't know where the bullish one is. I gotta have to find that one. NZD CAD. Ooh. So price came down to our bullish zone weeks ago, and now we're sitting right at that 200 EMA. This one's red. We want to see what we're gonna get here. I like this to go bearish back to that, at least that pivot. We do have this trend line as a reference point, but you can see we broke barely above the 200 EMA here, and then we just been riding under it. So a lot of sellers are going to be looking at this area. That does mean that Canadian dollar has to get a little stronger, or the New Zealand dollar has to get weaker. So fundamentally, we have to be careful. But this is going to be a good week for some big moves. So this is one we want to look at right out of the gate. NZD CHF. Let's get rid of some of this noise. We targeted this as our bear zone. We broke through it, but we didn't retest it. Now we're back down, and we broke below this pivot. And if we draw a little trend line here, you can see we could see another bounce off this trend line, but this is going to be our make or break area, where if we bust below that, we could see a retest of this area, which we would love to be in, or we're going to get a bounce off this at least up to that R2 this week. So, yeah, I'm going to put this right there where that hitch is. And I kind of like, I'm more biased to play this move this week. I'm going to turn that one red. I want to watch that one. NZD JPY. So, guys, look, we have a really good double top on the daily. To play this one perfectly safe is, wait for another pull up here, or if we draw a smaller time frame trend line, wait for that break. Let's move our make or break right there. I like this now. We have this probably a little too far down. Let's go there. There we go. Not a bad trade to catch this back down to that area if we get that. What's telling me that is this awesome double top right here. Usually that's a sign of a longer reversal or breakout of this range. NZD USD price hit our bear zone perfectly. Back to the pivot. I think now that we've hit that pivot, we're in our make or break zone. So if it shoots up, R2, 200 EMA. If we break below it, this S2 is a great weekly target. USD, Canadian dollar. So another great call out last week. We're in this range. We identified this downward trend. If you are a breakout, confirm your trades with breakout. It broke out. You should be long. My call out was once it got here, this is where we're going. And now where do I think it's going to go from here? Probably make a play up to that. And then we're going to want to be sellers here at 42,611. We're going to want to be sellers from there. Buyers from down here. It's not a bad play to take, just be long this pair up to there anyways, right? It's 169 pips. It's non-farm payroll week. Bad numbers could drive this down, or people are going to be soaking up dollars early in the week to try to be in any kind of decent news that we see. Okay, so here's another trade of the week I did in my free Telegram channel last week for those guys. We called out a sell right here. It worked perfect. Now we are in a area of our daily support. So this is long. We are long here. Back up to that pivot, guys, is a perfect take profit. So this one, I'm going to turn red. I might get in this trade as soon as we open. Let's get rid of that. So we're playing this down trend. Don't really have a bullish zone identified, but we could kind of call this our bullish zone, right? We have area rejection here. Start there. We kind of half-ass broke out, but I think this S2 is probably a better area. This is why last week I was in some short. I was long right here. This happened to me. We got out on a rollover long, and then I probably want to be short down to this level, especially at non-farm payroll week. There's definitely going to be either a run on the dollar and then a big let go. But with the Japanese yen pair, guys, the yen is considered the next safe haven currency as next to the dollar. So this pair is going to be moving this week. It's a fun pair to trade. It goes on long trends, and then you get these whipsaw kicks to the balls with it. But interesting pair to watch this week. I'm probably going to be trading it on much smaller time frames, looking for 30 pip, 50 pip moves. Try to make back last week's kick to the balls. All right, guys. Thanks for watching today. Sorry I was a little out of the norm. Hopefully this helps. And don't forget to hit subscribe here on YouTube, or like and follow on TradingView, wherever you're watching this from. I love the support. I love the comments. If you think I'm a crazy whack job, go ahead and throw them in the comments section below. Just let me know you guys are watching. All right, have a great Sunday, and let's go make some money next week.